Here are the top stories for today, January 3, 2020. President Duterte vows not to allow any onerous provisions in the deal concerning the Kaliwa Dam project. Malacanang says President Duterte is expected to sign the 2020 national budget on January 6. Incoming AFP Chief of Staff, Philemon Santos, is expected to continue the campaign against terrorists in Sulu. And government troops win the trust of a village in Agusan del Norte in a game of basketball. Good day, I'm Bench Bondok. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story tonight, President Rodrigo Duterte will not allow any onerous provisions in any deals entered into by government, including the controversial Kaliwa Dam project. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo made this assurance following renewed calls by the Makabayan bloc to scrap the construction of the China-funded dam as it would be disastrous to the government. Panelo rejected the party list's claims that provisions to construct the China-funded dam were one-sided. On Monday, Duterte said the construction of the Kaliwa and Wawa dams would be the last resort to ensure a steady supply of water in Metro Manila. He ensured that the government would relocate and pay residents who may be affected by the construction of the dams. The Kaliwa Dam project in Infanta, Quezon is funded by Chinese loans, while the consortium of Wawa Dam in Rodriguez Rizal is a joint venture of the consortium of Enrique Razon and Oscar Violago. The two projects are expected to provide an additional 600 million liters a day and 80 million liters a day, respectively, to help service Metro Manila. Malacanang said President Rodrigo Duterte doesn't just make threats, but he will pursue the filing of syndicated estafa charges against the owners of water firms over the alleged onerous provisions found in the water concession agreements. Duterte again warned Maynilad's Manuel Pangilinan and Manila Water Chair Jaime Zobel de Ayala that syndicated estafa charges have no bail and that he was determined to see them in jail. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the government has enough evidence to file syndicated estafa charges against Ayala and Pangilinan. Duterte's verbal attacks began after the Permanent Court of Arbitration in Singapore ordered the government to pay Maynilad and Manila Water damages from losses and delayed water rate increases. Meanwhile, Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar denied reports that Duterte is trying to replace Maynilad and Manila Water with business allies. Andanal said Duterte was in fact doing the business community a favor by telling them that there is no room for corruption in our business industry. Shifting gears now, the chairman of the House Committee on Legislative Franchises on Thursday reminded broadcast network ABS-CBN that the grant of congressional franchise is not a right but a privilege. Palawan Representative Franz Alvarez assured that his panel would be fair and objective in reviewing the ABS-CBN's application for its franchise renewal. Unless the Congress grants its renewal, ABS-CBN's franchise is set to expire on March 30, 2020. Alvarez also said the constitutional right to press freedom is a separate concern that does not apply in the case of the network's application for its franchise renewal. He said the committee would determine if the broadcast giant violated provisions of its franchise. For its part, Malacanang said Albay 1st District Representative Edse Lagman's claim that there is an extrajudicial killing of press freedom under President Duterte's watch is nonsense. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said those issues have been bled dry by rambunctious critics like him and have been responded to before. The Department of Health's anti-firecracker campaign nationwide has been relatively successful, considering the 35% drop in fireworks-related injuries this Yuletide season. Aside from the decline in injuries, Malacanang cited 0 deaths happened unlike in the past years. On Wednesday, the DOH reported 164 firecracker-related injuries from December 1, 2019 to January 1, 2020, lower than the 251 recorded last year. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III attributed the sharp decrease in injuries to the implementation of Executive Order 28 on June 20, 2017. Duque also said the lower number of firecracker-related injuries was also driven by the DOH information campaign Iwas Paputok. Duterte's EO28 sets stricter rules and regulations on the use of firecrackers and other pyrotechnic devices. The latest number of injuries has prompted the DOH to renew its call for a total ban on firecrackers and pyrotechnic devices in the country. Still to come, Malacanang says President Duterte is expected to sign the 2020 national budget on January 6. And incoming AFP Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Philemon Santos is expected to continue the campaign against terrorists in Sulu. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Pinalawak din ng Pangulo ang pakikipag-ugnayan ng Pilipinas sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Ilang mga kasunduan ang nilagdaan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at Japan na nagsusulong sa mga interes ng dalawang bansa. May mga kasunduan din sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at bansang China, bansang Singapore, Russia, India at South Korea. Lumahok din ng Pangulo kasama ang iba pang ASEAN leaders sa 35th ASEAN Summit na ginanap sa Thailand. Nagbunga ng positibong resulta ang programang Build, Build, Build ng pamahalaang Duterte. Nagwagi ang Mactan Cebu International Airport ng World Architecture Award. Nadagdaga ng mga infrastrukturang tulay na malaki ang may tutulong sa pag-unlad ng bansa. Sa pagtatapos ng 2019, asahan pa ang maraming proyektong infrastruktura ng pamahalaan para sa ikagagaan ng buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Mas uusbong pa ang transportasyon at mobilidad sa Pilipinas. Kasama sa patuloy na pag-unlad ng bansa ang pagtaguyod sa kalusugan ng bawat mamayang Pilipino. Layunin ng Presidente na gawing abot kaya para sa lahat ng mga Pilipino ang pagpapagamot at serbisyong medikal sa bansa. Binigyan tulong ng pamahalaan ang mga may kapansanan gamit ang batas na layuning gawing otomatikong miyembro sa PhilHealth ang mga PWD. Magtatatag din ng mga malasakit center sa mga pampublikong hospital sa bansa upang mabigyan ng mabilis at kalidad na serbisyong medikal ang mga Pilipino sa anumang sulok ng bansa. Upang mabigyan naman ng tulong at proteksyon ng mga Pilipinong naghahanap buhay sa labas ng bansa, isinusulong ni Pangulong Duterte ang paglikha ng departamentong tutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng mga OFW. Maraming OFW din ang natulungan ng gobyerno na makauwi sa kanilang pamilya dito sa Pilipinas pagkatapos ng kalunos-lunos nilang sinapit sa pakikipagsapalaran sa ibang bansa. Ipinaramdam din ni Pangulong Duterte ang kanyang suporta sa mga mamahayag sa bansa sa pamagitan ng SOTO Law kung saan hindi na oobligahin ang mga broadcaster na ibunyag ang kani-kanilang mga source sa balita. Sinigurado din ng ama ng bansa na matatag at ligtas ang mga komunidad sa panahon ng sakuna at kalamidad. Samantala, dala ng malagong turismo sa bansa na itala ang Pilipinas bilang isa sa mga bansa na paboritong pasyalan ng mga mahihilig maglakbay.
President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to sign the proposed 4.1 trillion peso national budget on January 6. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo on Thursday said there was information from Senate President Tito Soto that the proposed budget plan for 2020 will be signed next Monday. Congress on December 11 last year ratified the final version of the 4.1 trillion peso national budget bill for this year. The pressure to pass the budget on time stemmed from the delayed passage of the 2019 budget that led to the use of our reenacted 2018 budget from January to mid-April last year. The impending signing of the proposed budget came despite Senator Panfilo Lacson's recent claim that it contains budget insertions amounting to 83.219 billion pesos. Panelo earlier guaranteed that Duterte would exercise his veto powers to remove the funds inserted in the proposed budget that will be found unconstitutional. In other news, incoming Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Philemon Santos is expected to continue the campaign to neutralize terror groups in Sulu and help implement the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. AFP spokesperson Marine Brigadier General Edgar Arevalo said the AFP lauds President Rodrigo Duterte's appointment of Santos to the command's highest post. Santos, a member of the Philippine Military Academy class of 1986, also commanded the Nueva Ecija-based 7th Infantry Division before his appointment to the Eastern Mindanao Command last January. Santos will replace General Noel Clement, a member of the PMA class of 1985 who will retire from the service on January 5 after reaching the retirement age of 56. He will assume command of the AFP at a time when it enjoys a high approval rating and the campaign to end the local communist armed conflict is in full swing. On to some business headlines. The Court of Appeals has turned down an appeal by the Philippine Savings Bank against the government over its claim to parcels of land which formed part of the original Fort Stutzenberg Military Reservation, now known as the Clark Special Economic Zone. The CA's Special 16th Division denied the bank's appeal for lack of merit and affirmed the Angeles City Regional Trial Court Branch 56 decision in the case. It said the property that is officially declared a military reservation becomes inalienable outside the commerce of man. The petition was originally filed for the reversion of lot number 971 located in Sapangbato, Angeles City, consisting of 250,000 square meters and formed part of the original Fort Stutzenberg identified in July 1908. The bank claimed it acquired the property from a foreclosure sale in September 1974. The bank subsequently sold the property in June 2005 to a certain Damian R. Ramos. President Duterte has ordered the opening of the Central Mindanao Airport, which has been constructed since 2004. Ruth Abigita Carlos has tonight's regional headlines.
President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered the immediate completion of the mothballed Central Mindanao Airport. The President issued the remark after Mindanao Development Authority Chair Secretary Emmanuel Piñol and North Cotabato Governor Nancy Catamco sought this intervention to boost economic development in mainland Mindanao. The airport's construction started in 2004, and the 1.8-kilometer runway and terminal building were completed in 2010. The facility has not been operated because the provincial government of North Cotabato has not turned over the 62-hectare property to the Department of Transportation due to allegedly missing documents. Meanwhile, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency will focus on Negros Occidental and Bacolod City for its anti-drug effort this year. PDEA Western Visayas Officer in Charge Alex Tablates said their challenge area is Negros Occidental, including Bacolod City. Apart from the drug clearing operations, Tablate hoped they can also focus on moderately drug-affected barangay with the establishment of the Balay Silangan Reformation Center in Bacolod City this year. Negros Occidental is 28.29% drug cleared, while Bacolod City is 13.12% cleared, based on the PDEA data. In other news, the Philippine Coast Guard in Central Visayas on Thursday urged motorbangka operators to refrain from ferrying passengers if they lack clearance from the Maritime Industry Authority. This came after motorbangka Poseidon II capsized off the waters of Naga City in Cebu Province on Wednesday. All 24 passengers and the boat captain of Poseidon II, Johnny Montero, were rescued and accounted for by the PCG Naga personnel, he said. Poseidon II is not registered with Marina in Central Visayas as a passenger motor bangka. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Ruth Abigita Carlos.
More stories from the newsroom. Massive anti-government protests explode anew in Hong Kong. And government troops win the trust of a village in Agusan del Norte in a game of basketball. We're back after a quick break. Stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Kabalikat sa pag-unlad ng industriya sa bansa, mas mataas na sweldo naman ang hatid ng Pangulo sa mga manggagawa ng gobyerno at sa mga sundalo at pulis. Nananatiling mataas ang net satisfaction rating ng presidente na nangangahulugang kontento ang taong bayan sa kanyang pagpapatakbo ng ating pamahalaan. Patunay na nakikita at nararamdaman ng sambayanan ang taus-puso niyang pagsisilbi sa publiko. Sama-sama sa isang layuning, we win as one. Naging matagumpay ang hosting ng bansa sa katatapos na 30th SEA Games. Isang dekada matapos ang kagimbal-gimbal na pagpaslang sa 57 katao sa tinaguriang Ampatuan Massacre. Sa wakas, nakamit na ng pamilya ng mga biktima ang hustisya sa ilalim ng termino ng Pangulong Duterte. Patunay ito na nirespeto ng Pilipinas ang sistema ng hustisya, na itinataguyod nito ang kalayaan sa pamamahayag at isinusulong nito ang karapatang pantao. Labis-labis ang pagmamalasakit ng Pangulo sa bawat Pilipino. Hands-on siya sa pagtiyak sa kaligtasan ng mamamayan tuwing may nananalasang bagyo sa bansa. Binibisita niya ang mga sundalong nasusugatan sa gyera. Pati ang mga Pilipinong nasa labas ng bansa ay hindi niya kinakalimutan. Pinaparamdam niyang sila ay mayroong mapagmalasakit na presidente. Ang mahigit na 3 taong pagsisikap ni Pangulong Duterte at ng buong pamahalaan para sa ikagagaan ng buhay ng bawat Pilipino ay nagbubunga na ng magaganda at positibong resulta. Pagsugpo sa kahirapan at korupsyon, iligal na droga at krimen, modernong infrastruktura at sumusulong na ekonomiya. Ito ang legacy ng ama ng bansa sa lahat ng mga Pilipino. Sa mga darating pang taon na pamumuno ni Pangulong Duterte, asahan ang tuloy-tuloy na pagbabago tungo sa matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. Asahan din ang patuloy na pakikipag-ugnayan ng PCOO sa sambayanang Pilipino upang maipahayag ang mga programa ng pamahalaan. Ito po si Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andana, at muli, ito ang Duterte on Duty. Maraming salamat po. Abangan sa susunod na taon ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
A quick look at our world headlines. More than 1 million residents in Hong Kong took to the streets on New Year's Day as the 8-month-long unrest continued into 2020. A major rally was held at the colonial-era Victoria Park. Protesters blocked barricades across the city as police arrested at least 10 people in their efforts to quell the demonstrations. Protests in Hong Kong were triggered by the government's move to legalize extradition to mainland China. Protests have spiraled into calls for an investigation into alleged police brutality, release of detained activists, and retraction of the official term riots for the ongoing demonstrations. The construction of Bacolod City's Museum, Auditorium, and Multipurpose Coliseum on a donated property in Barangay Tanggub is set to start this year. Mayor Evelio Leonardia announced this before thousands of Bacolodnons who flocked to the government center grounds to welcome the new year. In October 2018, Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri unveiled the architectural design of the two-structure green building, which is environmentally responsible and resource efficient. The two structures, which will each have 2 stories, will include a multi-purpose museum and an 800-seater amphitheater. Meanwhile, the proposed Bacolod Mascara Coliseum will seat about 10,000 people. The Coliseum is among the 4 big-ticket projects being funded by the city government's 1.7 billion peso loan from the Development Bank of the Philippines. The site of the 2 projects is part of the 8.8-hectare property donated by the Yanson family to the city government. Here's some good news for those who are maintaining their weight after the holidays. Australian scientists have found that higher body weight could increase the chance of beating certain cancers. A team from Flinders University revealed that an above-average or high body mass index can boost the body's response to atezolizumab, a common treatment for non-small lung cancer. They found that patients with a high BMI had a significant reduction in mortality after being treated with atezolizumab compared to those of average weight. The result was surprising because a high BMI has previously been linked to diabetes, cancers, and cardiovascular diseases. Previous studies have explored a concept called as obesity paradox, where obesity is associated with increased risks for developing certain cancers, yet may give greater survival benefits in certain individuals. Despite the results, the Flinders University team stressed the need for a healthy lifestyle to maintain normal weight because of other health problems associated with high BMI. And before we go, for the Army's 23rd Infantry Battalion troopers, winning a basketball game is not only through numbers, but also by earning the trust and confidence of community members. This as government troops reached out to residents in Agusan del Norte to entice them away from insurgency by playing basketball. Our Joyce Cudis has the report.
The Philippine Army has scored a significant victory over the Communist New People's Army by winning back residents of a remote community in the town of Buenavista in Agusan del Norte. Sitio Sampinit in Barangay Malapong in Buenavista Town, in an influenced area by the NPA, was adopted by the 23rd Infantry Battalion, and a pamaskong handog was conducted in the area last December 26. Lieutenant Colonel Francisco L. Molina, 23rd IB Commander, said they noticed the barangay had a dilapidated basketball court, which the battalion decided to repair by providing new boards and rings. On the eve of the New Year's Day, troopers stormed Sitio Sampinit to play basketball with the residents in the area. The basketball game ended with a brutal fight, with the residents in a formal turnover of the basketball court to the leaders of the sitio. Molina said the sports activity on the New Year's Eve symbolized teamwork and a good relationship between the Army and the residents of Sitio Sampinit. Molina emphasized that there are many forms of engagements in winning back residents who were once deceived by the NPA. He added that the Army will also recommend to the LGU and other government agencies to prioritize programs and services to the residents of Sitio Sampinit. Molina noted that the whole-of-nation approach initiated by President Rodrigo Duterte is already gaining ground in far-flung areas of Agusan del Norte, including Sitio Sampinit. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte vows not to allow any onerous provisions in the deal concerning the Kaliwa Dam project. Malacanang says President Duterte is expected to sign the 2020 national budget on January 6. Incoming AFP Chief of Staff Philemon Santos is expected to continue the campaign against terrorists in Sulu. And government troops win the trust of a village in Agusan del Norte in a game of basketball. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Bench Bondok. Have a great weekend.